Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. On February 13, biggest ever CEC specific draw happened. Almost 27,000 invitations were issued. Congratulations to everyone who ever received the invitation. Now you're probably gathering all the documents so you can apply for permanent residency as soon as possible. So you might want to start with Indian PCC because the process may take some time. So in this video I'll be showing you how to apply for Indian PCC. So I'll put the links to the website which I'm referring to in the video description. Please do your own research as well. Go to those links and see if there is any information that has been updated, so your application is up to date when you are applying. As per the IRCC website, when you search how to apply for Indian PCC, you can see that they currently accept PCC from these places. I would prefer you to apply through BLS centers, and in this video we'll be talking about that only. So let's get started. When applying for permanent residency, we are required to submit the PCC for the countries where we have lived for 6 months or more in a row. We must apply for PCC after the last time we stayed there. It means we must have left that country before applying. In case we have the PCC for that country but we go back to that country, then the PCC becomes invalid and we have to apply that again once we leave that country. In this case, I'm considering the applicant is currently present in Canada and applying for Indian PCC. Let's see how to apply. So there are 3 Consulate General of India CGIs in Canada. One of them is located in Ottawa, another one in Toronto, and another one in Vancouver. We have to choose one of these based on where we live. So as per BLS website, if we are living in any of these areas, we should choose Ottawa CGI. If we are living in one of these areas, we should be choosing CGI Toronto. If we are living in these areas, we should be choosing CGI Vancouver. So now we know what CGI we have to apply through. Let's see rest of the process. So there are 3 CGIs as we discussed: Toronto, Vancouver, and Ottawa. There is a list for each CGI. First of all, we need to fill this form, PC Application form. So here we have to choose Canada because this is where we are applying the PCC for. We have to register our account. Here again, we have to mention what CGI we are applying through. There are 3 options: Ottawa, Toronto, and Vancouver. Let's see Toronto. Input your details as per the passport. You can also choose your email ID as your login ID if you press yes here. Once your account is created, go and log in. So this is applicant home page. Over here, you will see an option to apply for police clearance certificate. Click here. So here we have to choose immigration purposes other than citizenship because we are applying for permanent residence. Input the passport information. This file number is at the last page at the very bottom. Input the applicant details. Input the PAN number, voter ID, Aadhaar number only if available, but they are not mandatory. If you input Aadhaar number, you have to press I agree. Otherwise, leave it blank. Here we have to input family details. When we are inputting the names, we have to make sure that it matches with their passports. Over here, we have to mention our current residential address in India. Here we have to mention the police station which is servicing our residential area. This is very important, otherwise PCC application will be returned. Before filling this application, we have to make sure we know which police station is servicing our area by calling the police authority. Present address and country of domicile. This is the present address in Canada. This is the questionnaire. Answer it as applicable. Please validate the information again. After hitting next, you're submitting form and you'll have an option to save or print the application form. If you go back to applicant home and scroll down, you will see that your application will be down here. If you press select, you can print application from here as well if needed. So now that you have printed the application form, we have to do rest of the process. Let's have a look at the requirements. So when we are filling this application form and printing it, there is a difference between each CGI. For example, Ottawa CGI needs 4 pictures. However, Toronto and Vancouver CGI only needs 1 passport size photo. So once the form is printed, paste your photo and sign wherever it is required. Once the form is totally completed, let's follow the next steps. For CGI Toronto, the checklist of the documents that we have to mail or take with us when walking in at BLS Center are the application form that we have just filled. Photograph. Provide 1 photo of this size. For Indian passports, copies of first and last page, copies of all immigration stamp pages. Status in Canada. Valid work permit, study permit copies. Proof of address could be a driver license photocopy. And finally, the payment schedule. We'll talk about this later. Let's have a look at Vancouver. Same application form. You have to provide 1 photograph of this size. Documents. Provide photocopies unless otherwise stated. All photocopies have to be self-attested. Here's the difference. In Toronto, there wasn't such thing. We just needed copies. Applicants holding Indian passport, valid Indian passport, or now it says either we send our original passport or self-attested copies including page having immigration stamps, and they have to be self-attested. You have to sign each page and you have to make sure you are only printing one-sided, and rest of the documents are going to be the same. Proof of address and a fee payment. Let's have a look at Ottawa. So this is the same application form, plus we have to submit this reference form this time, which wasn't required in CGI Toronto and Vancouver. So if we visit this website, this is the form we have to fill and sign, and they're requiring 3 original completed forms. So we have to submit 3 forms and all of them have to be original. We cannot simply photocopy them. So each 3 individual forms have to be filled and signed. Photograph. Here we need 4, unlike Toronto and Vancouver, where we were only required to submit 1. Documents. Provide below documents in original and photocopies. Photocopies on separate pages means single-sided. All photocopies have to be self-attested. Include copy of Indian passport. That includes stamps front and last page. We are also required to provide valid work permit or study permit. Again, photocopy. self-attested. Proof of address, provide photocopy of the driver license, but self-attested, and the fee schedule. So now we know which form we had to fill, what documents we had to include in the envelope. So our envelope is almost ready, except the fee payment. If you're going to walk in at one of the BLS center, you can use your debit card or pay by cash. But if you're sending a postal application, then you're gonna need to include money order or bank draft for $44.40 Canadian. The easiest way would be a money order through Canada Post, and that is going to be in favor of BLS International Services Canada Inc. Now, when you go there, make sure the money order has your name on it and it is in favor of BLS International Services Canada Inc. for $44.40. However, Canada Post is going to ask you that there's a word limit in the money order. So instead of writing international in full, you can ask them to write INTL. So that is going to be BLS INTL Services Canada Inc. And then you take the money order, put that in the envelope and seal it. Now everything is done. All we have to do is mail the application or walk in at one of the BLS centers. Before we do that, we have to choose our BLS center based on where we currently live. Let's have a look at that. We are living in one of these provinces. We can only use these BLS centers. If we are living in these areas, we can only use these BLS centers. Similarly, if we are living in these areas, we must only use these BLS centers. However, some of the BLS centers are currently closed for walk-in, so we can only do postal application. So let's have a look which BLS centers are currently closed because of lockdown. So as we look here, BLS Brampton, Toronto and Ottawa centers are closed till 19th February as per provincial lockdown. But we can still send our postal applications. They're closed for walk-ins. All other BLS centers, Winnipeg, Surrey, Edmonton, Vancouver, Calgary and Montreal are open for walk-in basis. Now, we know where we can go for walk-in. But if we are doing a postal application, we can only send postal application to certain BLS centers. They are mentioned here. Postal applications are accepted only at the below mentioned centers. So if our CGI is Toronto, we can only send our postal application to BLS Brampton and the address is here. If our CGI is Ottawa, we can only send it to BLS Ottawa and this is the address. Similarly, if our CGI is Vancouver, we can only send our application to BLS Surrey and the address is here. But we don't have to remember that. All we have to do is, let's go back to requirement page. Let's go to this page and click on fee. If you're doing postal applications, you're gonna have to click here. And this is BLS pickup and drop off. This will include the shipment from your house to BLS center and from BLS center to your house again when the PCC is generated. So we have to proceed here. So right here we have to put our pickup address and drop off address. Well, ideally they are the same. Wherever your pickup address is, basically your home address, drop off address, basically your home address again. So I was talking about we don't have to remember which BLS center we are going to have to send our application to. How? That's right here. If we input our postal code, let's say for New Brunswick, the postal code starts with B. It automatically says that you lie in Toronto CGI and you need to send documents to Brampton BLS Center. So it will automatically create a shipping label for Brampton BLS Center. Similarly, if we do for Saskatchewan, the postal code of Saskatchewan starts with S. It automatically detects that we lie in Vancouver CGI and we need to send the documents to Surrey BLS Center. So it would automatically create the shipping label for Surrey BLS Center. So we don't have to input the BLS Center address. All we have to enter is our address, our pickup address and our drop-off address. When we proceed, it will ask us to pay the fees, and after paying the fees you'll receive an email that will contain Purolator shipping label that you have to print out and paste it on top of the envelope that you just sealed. Now you can either call Purolator and schedule a pickup, or you can go to any nearby Purolator drop-off location and drop your envelope. And here your work has finished. Now BLS will take over. Whenever the PCC is generated, they will ship the PCC to your address. So this is it for this video. I'll be making a series of videos on steps involved in applying for permanent residency, including creating Express Entry profile, what to do after receiving the invitation, applying for PCC, applying for RCMP PCC, how to find eligible physicians so you can get the medicals done. And these videos are going to be mainly for CEC applicants who are already present in Canada. So that's it. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, have a good one.